So, how did it all begin, Puneet? I mean, where I remember Venkat and Kumar sharing that it's almost like 60% diversity in your teams, or if not more. So, I wanted to understand your background and context to how this originated.
It's not 60%, it is more than that.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, it is 80%.
Wow.
And so it goes back to my childhood. I lost my mother. I was 7-year-old,
Okay.
and I was raised by my sisters.
Okay.
So, how do I say thank you to my sisters? So definitely, we all take care of our own immediate family members.
Correct.
But what happens to the people who do not have immediate family members who are elder brother or younger brother?
Correct.
And that's what encouraged me to, empower women, right? So I want to say thank you to my sisters
Mm-hmm.
by employing them, making sure that they are working in a good environment. I'm saying that.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
The second thought is about, I'm a firm believer of Brahma Kumari's World Spiritual University.
Okay.
It's a all women organization,
Mm-hmm.
and it does wonderful job.
Okay.
So, that is the thought. The second thought is from that perspective that, if girls can do good job, why not support them?
Okay. Okay. So, this comes out of some spiritual alignment that you have, Puneet.
A spiritual alignment, a personal way of thanking it. So I don't know how do you put it in a good language, but personally I want to thank my sisters. And
Okay.
second is my alignment with the Brahma Kumaris.
Correct. 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 So when you had this form of an alignment, I mean, and you started building your organization, did it turn out like this from day one, or was it a journey?
No, so it was a conscious decision to do it.
Okay.
And over the period, it has evolved as a mature organization wherein we are making sure that everything is revolving around women's.
Okay.
But it has been a journey where we've learned things, we have had good experiences, bad experiences, some learning, some unlearning. So over the period, yeah, it is. I would not say we are evolved. We are still under the journey.
Okay, okay. And this is good because you said good experiences, bad experiences. You had to learn some things, you got to unlearn some things, no? I would love you to share a few instances, Puneet, if it's all right.
So I will give you some understanding. So this lockdown taught us a lot of things.
Yes.
Correct. So when we were in the lockdown, we were the first company to, like in my known vicinity,
Okay.
we started work from home on 17th of March,
Mm-hmm.
even before government mandated on 22nd March,
Correct.
right? We started working from home. Now, when we work from home, women, correct? So in the routine environment, she is taking care of home, then she leaves for work, and then she comes back for home, and then she starts as a mom or homemaker. But in the lockdown scenario, it was completely homemaker end to end.
Correct.
Correct. Males have male ego, so they don't do certain work.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Correct.
Now that girl who was working with SHIVAAMI, she has a family to look after, a kid to look after, a husband to look after, an in-laws to look after, right? And still has to work.
Correct.
And there is no boundary like lockdown because everyone is working from home.
Correct.
Right? So there are no boundaries, there are no timings for things.
Correct.
Now that particular female is crushed between too many expectations.
True.
Right? So first is, when we used to start our day, we used to make sure that, we talk to them, we counsel them. Because every day she is not going out, so she is also frustrated. Right? And and girls on the sales are more, open about things, right? Because they have been seeing and meeting people and talking to them. So we were making sure that they were venting out their problems. They were discussing. Second, they had child or maybe kids, one or two, some cases. Now kids are curious what my mom is doing.
Correct.
Right? So we had to give 10 minutes before we start the meeting to the kids. Right. So they also understand what is this digital technology, how the online collaboration happens, and they are talking to each other. They are playing around.
Correct.
Right. So they understand. My mom is also doing the same thing.
True.
Right. So second was to give time to their kids. Third, define their lunch timings. Right. If I do not, so in a work environment, if there are no lunch timings,
Correct.
People eat at any time. And sometimes some people skip because they think that work is more important than the food. So we had to define their lunch timings. We will not have meetings in between so and so time. Come what may. So give them a disciplined way of living. Right? Again, in the evening, 7 o'clock, you have to get out of whatever you are doing. Don't talk work. Right? So we were making sure that these small things are taken care from our end, right? So that they are able to perform.
True.
As a good entrepreneur, good employer, it was my duty to make sure that the salaries go on time and salaries go complete.
Correct.
Not half, not 20% cut or anything. It has to go on time, it has to go on complete.
Correct.
Okay? So we did all these small things wherein it helped them not get aggravated or sometimes they could not vent out their frustration onto the family members, then what to do. And India है, सास बहू की सीरियल तो चलती ही है.
True. True.
So that was also there. Now some girls were, staying with their so mother नहीं थी, father के साथ रहते थे, तो उनकी एक limitation होती है. तो उनको कोच करना कि किस तरह इस चीजों को हैंडल करना है, क्योंकि घर से तो बाहर निकल नहीं रहे हो.
True.
So all these things, luckily, since my wife is also involved in the business, she takes care of the HR, right? What problems she was facing, even others were facing.
Correct.
Right. And over the period, I also realized when I'm working with so many girls, so many women in the organization, that they have different challenges and it needs different solutions.
Correct.
It cannot be generalized way of looking at things.
Correct. Right.
That's what you are doing, and that's what is helping me in the organization.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Originally, thought process was to hire women, to employ them in the sales. So everyone, I have a different way of looking at life. So, there was a saying that when others are fearful, be bold. When others are bold, be fearful. Right? So when others hire male, I hire female for the same job.
What was that? Where did you get this mindset? I mean, it's an interesting one to look at contrast, because even in our TV, right, we like the contrast to be balanced. Only then we get good picture quality, right? How did you get this, Puneet?
Honestly, thanks to Brahma Kumaris.
Okay.
I've been associated with Brahma Kumaris for quite some time. And I've seen, women's working very hard, very actively, doing things which are amazing.
True.
Right. So I had that understanding that they can do it. They need a platform. Right. My company's name is SHIVAAMI. It's a female name.
Correct. Correct.
Right. So we thought that, why not give girls the opportunity to perform? I know they will fail once, twice, thrice, but fourth time they will not let me fail.
True. True. True.
So when we hire, sometimes we hire mothers who are restarting their career. Right? So when they restart their career, they leave their child at home, so they have a mother's guilt.
True.
Right? They have now, up to the age of 5, the kids usually get sick. So their work predictability is sometimes a challenge.
Correct. True.
भैया कल बच्चे को बुखार आ गया, she cannot come to office.
True.
Whatever important work we may have.
True.
The priorities are family first.
Correct.
Kids first. Right? So these are small things we've over time evolved. We have understood how to have the backup in place, how to plan things out well in advance so that we don't encounter challenges later. Things work.
Correct. Correct. But when it comes to having, when you say around more than 80% of the organization is women-led and driven, how, and predominantly most of the sales roles are also women-driven, Puneet?
Yes.
How?
Primarily sales.
Primarily sales. Okay. So, what's the difference? I mean, I'm sure you would have had. I'm not in this gender war, but you would have had a male counterpart in a sale and a female counterpart in a sale. How does what have you observed, Puneet, and that makes you believe that having that women there gives a greater fulfillment to that sale?
There is no difference.
There's no difference.
Is equal.
Okay.
But women's in my organization get more preference because of my original belief that I need to say thank you to my sister. Okay. So if a salesperson, say male salesperson, is not able to achieve the target, and a female salesperson is not been able to achieve the target, the females don't get punished, the males get punished.
How is that? I mean, has that created a sense of divide in the organization, or has it given a sense of competition to perform better? How is that, Puneet?
No, so see, ultimately, they also know that my emotions don't work in the business world.
Okay.
Sometimes, though, this kind of punishments are given on emotional level.
Correct.
But even they have their understanding that these emotions are not going to be lasting longer. If I don't perform, I will have to perform.
Correct.
So the sense of responsibility comes out of it. That's what I can say.
Correct. But when you have seen women in sales, Puneet, and this is not just a issue. I mean, here you have a mindset and you had some experiences, some alignment that has made you go. But then globally, that women in sales, especially, is not an area where you see great numbers. You don't see great diversities. I mean, be it the world's largest corporations still struggle with women in sales. Hardcore. They may be in operations, they may be doing enablement, but they're not in actual sales. And there could be various challenges. In those days, it was travel and maternity. All of those things were added reasons. But now, I think we've all evolved, and all those things. Women also want to be equal, driven, everything. But still, the world is struggling. So, what are some of your learnings, Puneet, that you can share as key pointers that others can emulate?
So, see, one thing is sense of responsibility.
Okay.
Women are more responsible.
Okay.
So that is one thing which drives them. Second is, in my company, what I have inculcated as a thought process is that every day one small win, be it 1 rupee sales win, or be it 100 rupee sales win, or be it 1 crore rupee sales win. One small sales win is important. That keeps the morale boosted. So every day one small victory leads to a bigger victory in a bigger way.
Correct.
Right. So I make sure that girls win a deal a day. And whatever support is needed is always given from us. So we have to create the environment which is about sales.
True.
Expect someone to do sales on the personal capacity. Sometimes they fail, sometimes they don't.
True.
If you create the environment, then their chances of winning are much more.
Correct. True.
That's what we have done.
True. Something like a winner's mindset, right? You're creating that the culture within, so they are always, and that level of motivation is there to see that somebody else is winning and I can also do it.
Correct.
Very nice. Shweta, you have some questions for Puneet.
Yeah. Hi, Puneet.
Hi, Shweta.
So I've been doing a lot of research for Venkat's book, and generally statistics research and all seems to show that women tend to deliver a higher win, or their quota is they tend to reach that much better than men. Is that something that you are seeing?
I am not seeing that, honestly. I see, so I work very closely with Google. Correct. Now Google hires at the manager level, females also, males also, male ratio is still higher. Correct. I see both of them have the same quota.
Okay.
But I will tell you whatever quota they get, I challenge them that my girls will fulfill 50% of your quota.
Okay.
And my girls always do it.
Okay, that's nice. But with respect to wins, do women attain their quota more than men compared to men?
It's the same.
No,
Same.
it's the same.
So when you hire these women, Puneet, what are the traits that you see for people to come into Shivami? Because you have a great culture, great mindset, and what traits do you see when you hire women?
I don't see anything else except attitude.
Okay, attitude. Okay, and what defines it for you and your organization, Puneet?
See, so the business what we are in is the cloud industry.
Correct.
We are in the cloud industry almost decade plus years now, almost 12 years.
True.
So when we entered into it, there were not a trained team or people who were trained on the cloud technology, right? So skill was not a problem for me. I could give them a skill. What I need is the person willing to understand, change, and improve upon. Right? If they are open to that, then the options are available. So, as a matter of policy, I don't hire to fire. Correct. So, if I hire someone and if that person is not able to perform into department A, then I try them into department B.
Correct.
If not B, then department C. So by the time we have either learned that if that person is capable or not, or that person itself has identified that this company is not my fit.
Correct. True. So you're giving them the space to evolve and test out, and then they decide to leave or not you.
Absolutely. And most of the time they stick around.
Correct. When there is that sense of camaraderie that's built within the organization, right? So true. Good. I mean, Puneet, what do you think is the future for women? Have you any thoughts or perspectives for women who are working, who are professionals, and you're seeing this from your vicinity. Now, what do you see at a global level or at an all India level? Would you see any perspectives or thoughts there?
I was disappointed when I saw, Diane Green failing out in Google Cloud, right? But at the same time, I am very happy to see Ruth Porat scaling heights in Google.
Correct. True.
So I have two examples to follow. And ultimately, that brings me to a thought process that it's going to be equal world, probably better for the women in future as far as corporates are concerned.
True. Good. And are you giving consciously, are you building some learning programs for your women? Are you upskilling them? Because they will come with a certain set of talent and capabilities, and yours will always be technical capabilities as well. But are you growing them to be managers? Are you growing them to, what's the growth trajectory when they come into Shivami?
Absolutely. I would first hire someone internally, then externally.
Okay.
So always upscale possibility, upgrade possibility in the company. Challenge what I face, and usually everyone faces that, is that people get the designation, people get the salary, but they don't understand the responsibility along with it.
Correct. Absolutely.
So we have to upgrade them for that responsibility. Some people take time, some people immediately accommodate, right? But then that's part of the journey, I would say.
Correct. Wonderful. I mean, anything else, Shweta, for you, or this is good?
No. Why do you think there are not more women in sales, according to you?
So it's about Indian mindset. Most of the time, parents do not tell their kids to become a salesperson. Everyone wants their son and daughter to become engineer or a doctor or a government servant. No one wants their son or daughter to become entrepreneur or a salesperson. Correct?
Yeah.
So most of the parents look at sales as a dirty job.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And even the society has cultivated the thought that sales is a bad job.
So how are you convincing these women then to join?
Very good question. In fact, I have had interactions with the candidates' parents.
Okay.
I have coached them that, you see, when you are leaving your daughter in my office, you are giving me responsibility. Right?
Okay.
So let me try this with your kids. At least they will not worry about, the basics of their life in future, because they will have that much training so that they can find anything for themselves. And sales is one job which will always pay you, whether you sell technology or you sell anything else. Because once you know how to sell, then everything else is, I would say, outcome-based story.
Correct.
So it has to do with our society. It has nothing to do with individual or family.
Absolutely. Well said, Puneet. I think it's a mindset shift that has to be more systemic rather than just at the surface level, right? We have to shift it. And there's also somewhere I read a research that said that there was a All India entrepreneurial mindset survey that was done. And in that they said the people who can become entrepreneurs are the ones who know that their mother is supporting them, not father or anybody else. So when mother's support is there, they are very confident to jump into entrepreneurship. And that also is
I'll give you one story which I read today in the morning.
Wow. Yes.
So there was a boy who, who was a single mother's child in America. And this boy, because his mom was working full time, was not coached into right friendship. Right? he started keeping a knife with him.
Wow.
And there was an incident wherein he used the knife in front of someone. His mother came to know, right? And mother was very worried and concerned. So she asked the child, she in fact, coached the child that I know a doctor round the corner. He also carries a knife, but he uses knife for the benefit of the society and benefit of himself.
Correct.
Right? That child went on to become the neurosurgeon of America.
Beautiful.
Right?
Wonderful. Wonderful. I think it's
So
that shift in
it's the way
perspective.
we coach.
Correct. Wonderful. Excellent, Puneet. I mean, this has been good. I should say thank you for giving us the time. I think it's been a pleasure, Puneet.
Same here.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yes. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Puneet.
Thank you very much.
Bye.